Hey everybody, welcome to the Dope and Tape Show. I'm so glad that you were able to come and hang out with us, either if you're joining us live, which of course we prefer, because that way we can get to interact and talk to you and hear your stories and your opinions as well. But if you're catching us on the other side on YouTube and maybe Spotify one day when we get back on our stuff to do the captions, welcome. Thank you so much for coming and listening and supporting us, and we really appreciate it. Today's pretty cool. We have the people over here from now it's Protecto wire, is that right? Or
Protecto wire. Yep, all
Protecto?
one word.
Right. So I've used that before on service. I've dealt with it on service, and I dealt with it a little bit on new construction, but not hands-on, more on like
Mhm.
a sales thing. So I purchased it for a job and
Sure.
quote um just so everybody's we have partnered up with FireTech, and we're super excited. We are huge on education on this show, and we push everybody to get education. We also encourage you to pay for it yourself. Don't wait for your contractor, your boss, your manager, whatever you want to call them, to pay for that. I mean, it's $185 for this class, which is discounted. It's an NFPA 25 NICET level 1 prep course. I mean, it's a no-brainer. And then typically with most companies, you pass this, you get a raise, you get a bonus, and then like that money just didn't even exist that you spent. And I haven't heard of anybody getting it. No one's reached out to me. Bobby, have you heard of anybody reaching out to you that
No,
they're taking
a lot
the
of
course?
people like to be secretive, though. I wouldn't be surprised if a few people have. Has anybody signed
Yeah.
up for any fire tech courses and taken this amazing offer? Welcome, welcome. Thank you for
So
joining.
the
What's up, Chandler? I see you Monday, dog. Actually, I'll see you Sunday.
the discount code is dope and tape.
The
So
discount code at Fire Tech is dope and tape.
right,
Whether
if
you're
you and
watching us
then
live or
also
you're watching the replay, hit the like button
this
right
class
now.
is good for a month. I'm kind of open on what we're doing next month. I think we will do a class on fire pumps, not like a complete entry level, but like a step above. And I want to know what you guys think
That's
about
it.
that. If y'all want something else, a different class, let me know, and we'll change gears completely. But you got to let me know.
Speak up.
I think that y'all want fire pumps. That's what I want to give y'all. And if you're a field guy, you having a level 1 inspection certification is huge. It doesn't even mean that you had to do it. Just get that raised and have that under your belt, and you're good to go.
Chad Tester's in the chat. What up,
So
Chad Tester?
Chad has
Chad,
done it twice.
Chad,
Chad
what's
has
up?
done his
What's
level
up?
1
Woo!
with fire tech. Chad has done his level 2 with fire tech. So Chad knows.
And Chad just got done with his Protector Wire class.
Yeah,
You
it's
did.
awesome.
Chad got an A plus in Protecto wire.
He's
Really?
installing wire. He's installing wire today, this week. This is a wire man.
I see him
Thousands
with
of
his
feet.
wire cutters. Yeah.
Those are the key. You gotta have the right tools for Protecto wire.
That's
Hey,
it.
is there a way we can get Chad like some dope and tape wire cutters? Is there anywhere to like go and customize stuff?
Yeah, we could get something engraved. Just
Yeah,
get like the best wire cutters you got and just engrave them.
maybe like some gold handle ones.
Oh, Big Country, what up?
Absolutely. As
Be
long as they're
careful.
hardened steel on the
As long as
dike
they're,
end.
yeah, as long as they're Irwins. Those are the suckers that
What's up,
work.
Yeah.
Michelle? Yo,
Irwins
John, thank you for
Yeah.
joining.
one.
What's
So
up?
it's
Oh, sorry,
Irwin
can't say.
fire. It's wire cutters.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll send you the link.
Oh, the
All
They're
right.
specific
really
one. The
good.
specific ones you
Yeah,
want.
they're specific ones. They're really good.
All
Does
right, so
Chad you have those?
for anybody that's just joining us tonight, we have special guests, Protect the Wire, Amy and Gary. You guys want
Hey
to
guys,
introduce
welcome.
yourselves?
Gary, why don't you go first?
So I'm Gary Paul. I'm the regional sales manager for here for Protectowire. I'm responsible for the US and Canadian markets as far as our distribution networks. I work closely with our customers to educate, excuse me, train, promotes, work with them on end user visits, bringing on various distributors, things of that nature. So just trying to keep driving the product line and making people aware of what they have and what's available to them.
And I'm Amy, and Gary and I work very closely together because I'm technical sales for the US and Canada. So the two of us have a very large territory.
Yeah.
And we work really closely together. So basically, if you call Protecto Wire and you need assistance in any number of things, you're probably going to get transferred to me first. I do everything from soup to nuts there. So from pricing to application help to, you know, troubleshooting. So it's a great group where we're not many, but we're fierce, right?
Yes.
So I think that's kind of how we work.
That's awesome. So all the wire comes from one spot worldwide?
Absolutely.
We
Yeah.
manufacture it right in Pembroke, Massachusetts, one of the few manufacturers left in the United States, and we pump out a bunch of wire every
Yeah.
week.
So we've been
I shouldn't say
manufacturing
wire,
with that.
detector.
Yeah, detector. It's a device. It's not a wire.
Not a wire.
So we've been producing here from the same region for over 85 years.
Yep.
So the factory that we're in now, the factory that Chad come to class in, is our new facility that opened up back in 2012. Prior to that, we were operating primarily out of the river house, is what they refer to it. And it's literally about 150 to 200 yards away from where we are now. And it used to reside on the owner's property. So it's long history with the company.
So it's a real Yankee driven product. The gentleman who invented it really, they think because he had a incident when he was younger about fire, and he always wanted to find a way to create a heat detector, and he actually invented it. And in the lobby of our building, we have a historical little museum, and we have his journal there, and we've got a lot of old type of fire protection apparatus. So if you're ever in the area, you should check it out. It's definitely a cool museum, and it's literally in our lobby as you come in. So we're all about fire protection.
I'm about an hour away.
Yeah, right, exactly. You got no excuse there, Bobby.
What's up,
I need to
everybody in
come
the
up.
chat? Chad says she's wicked
So,
smart, kid. What's up, Jared? What's up,
How
Corlin?
close are you guys to Rhode Island?
45
Like,
minutes.
Okay, because I think I'm going to Rhode Island first this year. That'll be on my first stop, and then
Yeah.
Okay.
When?
moving around from there.
Well, then let us know, because we could always swing down and meet you or whatever.
Damn, kid,
Coming up to the Boston
Yeah, I
area.
agree.
you're gonna tell them before you tell me? Thanks, bro.
I don't have a date, but I
No,
know
I'm
I'm
just
going
kidding.
there first. Yeah, you're gonna be picking me up from the airport.
Yeah, I'd
Well,
love
if you
to.
ever want to come up, we can certainly give you the nickel tour around the factory and the facility and show you exactly what we do.
We'd be driving right
Definitely.
by. We'd be driving by them from Logan to Rhode
Oh,
Island.
totally. It's right. Yeah,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
like a 20-minute detour, literally, to get to us from where you're going.
Might have to show up.
Okay, cool.
Might have to show up.
Traffic.
I was gonna say 20.
Yeah, it all depends on what time. Don't fly in at rush hour on a
Exactly.
weekday.
Yeah,
Exactly.
that's the bummer part about it. Yeah,
I'd rather pick you
definitely.
up at 3
Yeah.
a.m. than 3 p.m.
I think I'd rather do the Boston traffic at 3 a.m. Thank you.
3 a.m. than 3 p.m. Yeah.
Not a morning
favorite-
person, huh?
It's my favorite time to go to the airport, that's for sure.
Oh,
Yeah.
So Gary travels 90% of the time. He's constantly on the road, so he does a lot.
oh yeah. So do
he's
you
been
do
to
the
the airport
road
many
or do you do
times.
airplane? Like, do you do flights or drive?
All depends on where I'm headed. So 90% of the company is positioned within 5-10 miles of the office. So we're still a very much in-person facility. We don't have, except for one, we have just about everybody else is in the office, one remote employee. So any place I'm going, because of my territory, 90% of the time I'm flying. But if I'm doing local, New England, New York, I usually use 6 hours as my, territory, is my
Okay.
perimeter. Anything beyond 6 hours, I'm getting on a plane. Otherwise, I'll get in a car and drive.
Okay, so my thought was like 5 hours.
Yeah.
That was like my thing. So any travel tips? Because me and Bobby, we travel a lot, but we're new to
TSA
this.
pre-check, baby.
So I
Auto
have
entry, TSA pre-check. That's your first
So I
stop.
have-
American Express will reimburse you. Is that
I have
Yeah, it is.
I
We
have
do.
yeah, the platinum. I have clear and TSA.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
So
I swear
you're
that's
there.
the way to go.
You're
Yeah,
good.
you
It
do
is.
both
You're good.
straight to the front.
I haven't got the clear yet.
And then lounge access, if you've got a dog in the fight that you use all the time, get the lounge access.
So worth it.
It's worth it in the long run. If you're doing a ton of
It-
travel, it saves you from eating at the airports, gives you a good clean place to set up and work for a few hours.
So the thing about Bobby is that he's built on efficiency and speed. So he gets there, he doesn't waste any time. Like me and you probably get there 2 hours before, get through
Yep.
everything, go to the lounge, get some food, maybe have a cocktail, get some yogurt, whatever. Bobby,
And
no,
I'm
Bobby's
doing
straight
emails
to the
all at the
gate.
same time. So
Yeah, Bobby's straight to the gate.
yeah, that sounds like Brenton.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
He's got
Like,
it timed
if
down to
if
So
I'm
he's
going,
yeah,
a
I've been
half
if
hour
I'm
telling him.
flying,
before and
if I'm
he's running
flying out of
through.
Logan, yeah, I'm parking the truck like 40 minutes to half an hour before like boarding.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I would be freaking out.
Well, yeah, you
Freaking
go
out.
right in. You have time to get a coffee, take a piss, boom, you're
Oh my
there.
God, he
You
is.
still you
No,
still have
no,
time to
Yeah.
wait for a minute.
Yep. Yep.
not in
That's it.
Atlanta. Not in
No,
Atlanta,
not in
baby.
Atlanta.
Atlanta can be a little
If
bit
I'm
more
flying out of
crazy.
Atlanta, I'm
Depends
showing
which
up
terminal
2
you
hours
get.
early.
Wild. Dude, Atlanta's wild.
The museum downstairs is a fire protection paradise. Lots of history over there. Protect the wire. Yo, I want to
Who's
go.
that,
I wanna
Chad?
go. That's Chad.
Yep.
Man,
So how
he's,
did y'all
he's,
build the museum part?
so the owner of the company, so the story of the company is that the owner's dad was assistant DA in Boston, and he decided to raise his family. He wanted to move out of the city, and he wanted to do a more rural practice, and he moved out to Pembroke. And the gentleman who invented Protecto Wire brought Mr. Sullivan on as his legal advisory, and then as their relationships developed, Mr. Sullivan became partners with Mr. Holmes, and when Mr. Holmes retired, he didn't have children, and Mr. Sullivan bought the whole business, and so his son
sorry,
Andrew is our boss. So it's only been in two families, and it's pretty amazing still. Andrew, who Chad met, loves the history of the area, and he is so welcoming and he is so inviting. And so when Chad came to the training, there's a part of training in the afternoon where we take a walk through the property and we go down to the River House, which is a 1700s house where Andrew actually lives, and he gives everyone a tour because, we have people from all over the world coming to Protecto Wire all the time, and a lot of people have never been to New England. So, Andrew's super generous
Well,
with showing that side of it. You know what I mean? And the history, super proud of the house, and it's been renovated. And as Gary was saying earlier, the old barn that used to exist was Protecto Wire for what, 75 years?
So that was the original place where linear heat was invented
Yep.
and set up. And I mean, he literally invented it in a barn and then set up shop in this barn. Then eventually, over the years, they expanded it out to 25,000 square feet.
Wow.
But I mean, it was along the North River of the South Shore, historic shipbuilding area. And then
Beautiful.
when the Sullivan family took over, Andrew moved in with his family, and they had trucks running down the driveway, where his kids were playing. He's like, this isn't gonna work. They had property all over the place.
Yeah.
Between the Holmes and the Sullivans, there was property available. It's just a matter of access to the primary roads. So as soon as one house came up for sale, they decided to break ground and start producing the new facility.
So that was, again, I think you said this earlier, but it was the property that Chad was at was built in 2012.
Yeah.
And that's where all the Protecto Wire is manufactured and shipped from all over the world.
Wow. How many
Okay.
countries are you shipping to?
Most of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, seriously. I mean,
But you're
I mean,
shipping
we're
directly
well
from
over
Atlanta.
150 countries as far as
So you are
we
shipping
globe.
directly. You're shipping directly from America.
Where it's shipping directly from Pembroke, Massachusetts.
got it.
Okay,
Yep.
so when you go to different countries, you have to deal with our port tax as well as theirs, and then
Yeah.
shipping and then conversions, right?
Yeah, so we have a whole international department as well. Gary and I handle North America, so we're United States and Canada, so we don't really have to get into that as much, but we have a whole international division
Yeah.
that handles all the
Okay.
international sales.
Canada
Yeah, we
has
deal
its
with
own
that.
level.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
deal with that with Arco as well. Going
yeah.
global on our distribution. And
Carlos,
man, and I dug on it. I dug into it a little bit, and man, that gets confusing quick.
Well, and I mean,
I
now with
got to
all the
do this, and
compliance and everything
I had to
else,
count. Yeah, I had to account for this and account for that, and then this tax
yeah,
changes, and then you have a
there's a
board
lot of
fee.
geopolitical things going on right now.
Holy
So,
Oh,
crap,
yeah,
dude!
big time, big time. That's why it's great that we have the guys that we have. Like I said, there's, everybody at Protect-A-Wire has a main job, but we all wear a lot of hats. And the guys who handle all the paperwork and know what paperwork needs to be filled out to get to where they need to go. And I mean, that's a full-time job in itself, just getting all those, restrictions or whatever is in place. You got to make sure that you're following the rules, and it's a big job.
Yeah,
Carlos, thanks
no,
for
I
joining us.
agree.
Anyone who's
Wow.
just joining us right now, this is Amy and Gary from Protecto Wire. Please hit the like button. Thank you. If you have not yet, please subscribe. I just really like I really like to say that. So
So if you I don't know if I'm sorry if I missed it, but how long have y'all been with Protect Wire? Because it seems y'all know a lot about the history, and y'all seem very passionate about the product as well.
So I started in 2013. So I just had my 10-year anniversary with Protect Wire. And I can be honest with you guys,
Congratulations.
thank you.
that's
I've always
awesome.
worked in manufacturing, and I've always worked in technical sales. I have a real aptitude for technical, but I was never, ever engaged enough to stick around any place long enough because I would get so bored. And I can't even believe, I always say this to Gary, I can't believe I've been here for 10 years and there hasn't been a day I've been bored. I learned something every day. I came from commercial lighting, so I came from a different environment. But the guy who hired me, who's no longer with us, John Whaling, wonderful guy, wonderful guy. He was the VP of sales for Protect-A-Wire for like, what, 35 years, I think? He just passed away a couple of years ago, but he hired me, and I told him, look, man, give me a year and I'll know it. Give me 2 and I'll be a pro. And I haven't let him down yet. So we're
Oh,
good.
that's incredible.
and I've been with the company now. This is going on 7 years this year. My first time in the fire protection industry, didn't know a lick of
Okay.
anything between, I mean, what I knew about fire protection was, pull station, extinguisher, and sprinkler heads. Beyond that, I had no idea who Protector Wire was. I grew up in this area, so they were literally in my backyard. I had my ex-wife and my kids, 5 miles from the shop. All of a sudden, one day I'm driving by and I see this great big building that just kind of like popped up out of nowhere, and I'm like, where the hell would that come from?
That's how it was when I found it too. It was like I never even knew it was there.
But I've had my entire career was in wire and cable, primarily high voltage connectors, technical sales, kind of like Amy. I started right out of high school working for a small manufacturing company in Brockton, working a punch press, sweeping floors. Eventually worked my way up there. I wound up spending 16 years there, working my way up through purchasing, quality control, sales, project management, project engineer, sales engineer. And that's when I finally said I need to get out and start exploring other places. So, fast forward, I just kind of stuck within that realm a little bit for a number of years. And then someone kept on talking about Protect-A-Wire. I had a couple of friends that knew the Sullivan family and had heard, great things about the company and the way they treat people and, what they do and everything else. And I went on their website and I checked out their product line. I was like, yep, I know what it looks like, but no idea what they do. And then it was kind of odd. I mean, I was working for a small company, not too far from where we are. And, I saw things on the wall that, the writing was there. And I just said, to my wife at the time, I said, I think it's time for me to pack up and move on. So I updated my resume. And sure enough, like the first company that popped up on my search was Protect-A-Wire looking for a regional sales manager. I was like, well, this is kind of bizarre.
We were super lucky when we found Gary because he's awesome. And we
So
all, you know what, like we could kill each other, but we love each other as well. So we just like,
Well, me and
it's
Bobby
such
do
a,
that. When we get together, we are fighting
Yeah.
like a like a marriage that's about to go through a divorce. Like that. We are and but the thing is we're different, but we also are very passionate and we're trying to do the best job. But
Right.
Well, and that's
you know,
what
different
complements each
personalities,
other.
but
Right.
it's really
Excuse me,
great.
one
Yeah,
second.
we complement each other in a great way, but we are in each other's face.
I
We
don't
really
think we've
are.
ever done that.
No?
No. We try to stay out of each other's face.
No, we've had it.
Me and Bobby have, but
It's gotten a
it's
little tense. We've had some
at,
pretty good fights,
yeah,
but we keep it cool. And we always, the great thing about the way that our office works is that, you know, everybody respects each other, and you can have a flip out, or you can speak your mind, and it's always respectful and it's always respected. And I really feel that way about Gary. I think that we've been thrown together, and it's actually worked out really well. And along with everybody else that is part of our sales group, we have an amazing sales team. So, you know, it's not an easy place to be. There's, you know, this industry is, you
Demanding.
know, demanding as hell, and you got to be there and right away, and everybody needs this. And so, you know, it puts you on edge sometimes, but I'd say 99% of the time we get on pretty damn well.
Yeah, we're doing pretty good tonight.
Yeah, so far.
you know, that's something I have even like just in the fire protection industry within itself. I have always really respected that the uncut rawness of a of a fire protection contracting office is something that I've always. I mean, if I didn't see, if geez, holy crap! When I was at United Fire in Atlanta, which is now Pipe Barker, but when I was there, if I didn't hear a cuss word in like I don't know 30 minutes, something's wrong. You know, like the uncut, and
It's when
then
things get thrown
also,
against the wall that you sit there and say, okay, wait a minute. We need
yeah,
to
yeah,
back up a little
we were
second.
family, but man, oh, oh man, like we
Oh,
would
I
get
mean,
into it.
there's a lot riding on what we do.
It's true.
You
And I
know?
think that
There is.
you wouldn't have those kind of situations if you didn't care. And I think that we all care. And I think that we all have each other's backs. When it comes down to it, we all have each other's backs. And that's really what matters. And we all really care about the company. And we care about each other. And I think that sounds sappy, but it's true.
Yeah.
No, everything you said is completely true.
Yeah.
And I see contracting company after contract. I mean, I'm probably seeing 3 people a day when I'm out seeing contractors and traveling and or even home, and it's the same way. It's like a family.
Yep.
And so
Yeah, it
many
was
people
funny.
have these relationships, but it's then they also know that a lot's riding on their role and what they're trying to do, and they're trying to do a good job, and they're not going to let anybody get in the middle of it, and then all that like clashes together, but it works all at the same time. Like I love
Yeah.
it.
I worked
Man,
in
I
the
just think
electrical
it's
wholesale
incredible.
industry for a number of years. And I mean, that
Mm-hmm.
was, you know, I mean, there's one thing about dealing with an electrical contractor. When they want it, they want it, you know, and that's all there is
Yeah,
to it. And you just kind of like bend over backwards and give them what they need. You know, that's
right.
what builds relationships.
Chad says Mr. Sullivan's
Yeah.
got some toys now, boys. If you're cool enough, you might get to drive his boat. I did see Chad driving that boat, man.
I think we have a picture of Chad driving the boat.
Yeah, I seen it. I seen
What?
it.
I think that's called Baby Grand.
Oh, no,
If I
that
would
one.
trust
Oh, the other one.
anybody
That's
with my
right. The other
boat,
one.
it would be Chad for sure.
Oh yeah, same.
I
Oh,
forgot
yeah.
about that.
I checked out their product line
Man.
on their website. It's pretty interesting. John up top said,
So how many?
did you get your hat, Big Country? And John said, I sure did. John, Big Country wins a lot of stuff on the show.
Yeah.
Yeah, he does.
Oh yeah.
Al, if you're in the chat, I still need to get with you. So you gotta let me know. You gotta email me at opentape@gmail.com.
He wants you to go meet him.
And yeah, I will. I'll take him to lunch and everything. I just need him to message me.
Oh, okay. Go send us a message,
He
Big
needs
Al.
an address.
Yeah.
Yeah. What is it? Dope@gmail or is it Dope and Tape Show? Dope and Tape, right?
Dope and tape at Gmail.
Yeah, we
Dope
just
at
saw that.
Gmail.
Dope. That's what I thought.
Come
It's
on,
like,
man. We're giving you your own email
I'm like,
address.
Thanks,
am
Gary.
I? And
Thanks,
I was
Gary.
like,
Gary
am I
knows.
wrong?
Gary knows. He's
Am I
seen it like
wrong?
2 times.
He's
Episode
fine,
146. Brian just learned the email. A round of applause. Round of applause.
So let's get into protect the wire a little bit.
Sure.
Now is that 120 or is that low voltage?
It's low voltage. So it's just being regulated by a slight current going through the cable. All we're looking to do is, you know, capture so consider it a normally open contact device. That's all it is.
It's a device.
It's resistive in its natural state because you're putting literally feet of cable onto an IDC. So it's going to draw that much resistance as it goes. But all we're looking to do is get a change in the resistance level,
Bingo.
to sit there and trigger an alarm condition at a panel. So that's the
Okay.
basic operation.
It's a device, not a wire.
So
It's a
with
device.
with
It's
the
not a wire.
And you know what? Let me just interject if I may.
Yeah.
The number one problem when Protecto wire gets on a site is that everyone thinks it's a wire. So it gets installed like a wire. And the problem is there's some little idiosyncrasies that you need to know, like there's a 2.5-inch bend radius. You can't zip tie this stuff. Zip ties are my arch enemy, man. I get so many calls where people have zip tied this and they've caused damage to the detector before they've even hooked it up. So as simple as the product sounds, there are certain ways to install it, and it has to be treated like a detector rather than a wire. So that's all. That's my soapbox, and I'm jumping on it.
wow.
So
Okay,
it's
well, I'm
really,
glad you said that because I
yeah,
wouldn't
it's
have
super
known any of
important,
that.
right?
No
And
90
it's
degree
not,
bends.
No
no,
90-degree
no.
bends.
You got to do, and the thing
Special
is
zip
that,
ties.
yeah, double loop
Double-
straps. So you've got one, sorry, I feel like I'm on
Go.
a call. You've got one,
You
one
are.
part of the strap that goes over the pipe, and then the other strap goes around the protector wire. So it allows it to have the flexibility to move temperature and things like that. You don't want to crush it onto a pipe because then, you could crush the inner working. So it's simple in its idea, but you just need to know the ins and outs of it. So call me anytime, Protector wire. I'll tell you how to install.
Awesome.
One of the
That's
things that a lot of
interesting.
people don't really realize is that the insulating materials that we use around the primary conductors is not your standard dielectric material that you would see in a typical fire alarm cable.
Exactly.
This is not 600-volt rated insulation that can take, some physical abuse. I always like to describe it as like a candle wax material. And
Because it was originally.
yeah.
Yeah,
I
it's
mean,
like
back in the day, it
beeswax.
was beeswax, and then it was lacquer, but so the polymers that we use now. So material sciences, as they've advanced over the years, we've changed the manufacturing methods we use. I mean, it's a true cable manufacturing process that we go through. We use physical extruders just like they would for fire alarm cable or Cat 5, Cat 7, any kind of wiring cable that you're manufacturing out there. We can literally produce it if we really wanted to, but we choose to focus in on this particular niche that we're in. So the polymers that separate the two primary conductors are actually specifically formulated for their ability to melt away and expose those conductors at a very specific fixed temperature.
Exactly.
So it's a passive detector. It's fixed temperature.
So it's the interior wall.
It's the
Yep.
interior of the. So think of it this way: we have two conductors within this jacketed material. So just like a typical fire alarm cable, except the two conductors that we're dealing with, number one, are steel, basically a music wire. So it's like a 19-gauge steel conductor. So that's why we're saying the Irwin cutters are the only things
Yeah,
that you could use
cut
on
through
these
it.
things, because we're not cutting through copper. You're going to destroy any wire cutter that you're going to be using in a typical electrical setting. And then on top of that, the heat sensitive polymers, I always tell people, think of it like a candle wax. So if you ever looked at a tapered candle in the sunroom during the morning hours, in the summer, standing up straight, tall, erect, and then as the temperature in that room continues to rise during the course of the day, all of a sudden you're going to start watching that candle just kind of like fade away. It's lost all its resiliency, it's lost all its support.
That's a
And
good
you can
analogy,
actually, ply it, you can manipulate it, you can mold it. So we're looking at it from the same perspective. We want those polymers to start melting away at that 155 index, that 190 index that we're looking to activate the sprinklers at. And to do that, we have to have these things start to melt away as it approaches that temperature. So that means ambient conditions on the detector that you're selecting is very crucial.
Totally.
Anything outside of the construction, the outer jacket, the tape that we use to hold the construction together, those are ancillary to the actual operation of the detector. Those are there for the outer jacket. They're strictly for environmental concerns. All depending on what kind of installation you're going into. Are you indoors, outdoors? Are you light industrial? Are you heavy caustic industrial with, solvents and oils and things of that nature?
Not even to tip on the subject of classified hazards, which is a whole nother way that you have to install protector wire. Like, you just can't think that protector wire is automatically explosion proof or anything like that. We use intrinsic safety for those environments. So there's a lot to know. You shouldn't assume anything about protector wire because there's too much that you need to know to get it right.
It's a very simple device with a lot of
You just got to get it right.
lot of curves.
Yep. So that's, again, you call us, and we'll set you straight. Well, we'll set you to a 2.5 inch bend radius.
So, I mean, so it melts. And then now I'm coming from a complete ignorant viewpoint. I've never put it in. I've never serviced it. I've had calls on this product before. So I'm coming from that standpoint. But why? So it melts. You can't do a 90 degree bend. You don't want zip ties, which are, on a service job, it's going to happen regardless if it's right or not, just because mainly people don't know. But is there a way to make it more resilient or
Not without
tougher?
Well, the thing is that the jacketing itself, like the XCR jacketing, it's tough. The detector itself is tough, but again, it's a device that has to work. So you can't you have to think kind of out of that box of, hey, these are the tools I have. I'm going to put it in. Because I'll tell you what, I get so many calls because the detector was installed incorrectly, and it's just a bummer because we have so many great installations where we can be such a benefit to pre-action. But again, if it's on the front of a rack and somebody keeps slamming it with a forklift, well, you're going to splice the crap out of it, and then it's not going to work right, and then the end user's mad. So if you call us, we can tell you how to negotiate those kind of things.
Yeah, I get it. The unknown, and as far as you're saying that it's a device, not a wire. Typically, in my mind, a wire you can splice.
Well, you can. You can splice.
Yeah,
this.
so you can. So if there's a ground fault, you can fix that and just continue the current.
Yeah.
That's great.
Is it always a connector, or can you just do an old school splice?
Well, we have
no wire nuts.
No wire nuts or anything like that. There's
in a pinch
for the type of
in a pinch.
No.
No, it's still core. It's not going to.
Is that because?
Come on, is this a trick question? Are you just baiting us? Are you just baiting us here?
No,
is that because it needs to stay Class B?
I like to push the limits a little bit. Chad says
y'all
want to know where it's installed. Give me a shout. I'll send you a pic. It's about 65 feet in the air.
So think of it this way. So 90-degree bends, you have the chance of displacing those polymers that are around those conductors. So it's not a matter of if, it's just a matter of when you're going to start running into intermittent faults. And with our legacy detector, that means an alarm condition. Zip tying it straight to a pipe, so now you're thinking about taking that same candle wax material and applying pressure to it against a very hard surface.
Yep.
So the other aspect of linear heat detection is that, as I was talking about that candle analogy, as that temperature rises and fluctuates within a room, it's not a matter of if, it's just a matter of when. So now you've compromised, the integrity of those polymers that we've surrounded those conductors with. You're applying unneeded pressure around the diameter of it, and now you have an area where the temperature is going to fluctuate, maybe 10, 20, 30 degrees during the course of a year. So now you're running the risk of intermittently wearing away the protective outer coating that we have around that. And now you're all of a sudden going to run into intermittent faults. You're going to have an alarm condition 1 second, and all of a sudden it's going to, cool down, and they're going to separate again, and you're not going to be able to find where that problem is.
I think that from maybe, and I'm not sure if I'm reading into it or not, Brian, but did I just pull your, sorry, keep getting we're connected. It sounds
See,
like
we work together, we live together.
So
that's awesome.
It sounds like a pain in the ass, right? But it serves such a great service. So if it's working correctly, all it's doing is giving you such an extra, who wants to heat test? Ask Chad about the smoke detectors in a hangar, and he saw the map of there were what,
Yeah,
300,
all the spot heat detectors.
6,000 spot heat detectors. It just,
No,
yeah, it serves a great purpose when it's chosen correctly and installed correctly.
Well,
It's
for
not as
really,
much of a
well, like
hassle as it sounds like.
what Chad is doing and what like Bobby and what North America doing, which I'm gonna say North American because that's who they're both working for, and that's
Yeah,
they're doing freezers
yep,
typically.
Yep.
I can definitely see where that's a big win because when you bring in like Vespa and then you have like frost buildup, then you have essentially like maybe an ice plug for any of the holes or where the vacuuming is, and then there's some other vacuum style. It's what is that? I forgot what they call that.
Well, it's a
Um,
pre-action to a degree because the aspirated is out there trying to detect any smoke particles in the
mhm.
area, and it's got its limitations. And
No,
it's
it
I'm not going
does.
to sit here and talk about any other product lines, but
Yeah, no, I think as far as because I cannot remember the word for this, but anyway, some requirements require a constant vacuum sensing style system. But as far as what you're doing, I mean, in with Chad and Bobby at North American, I think that system
oh, you're
just
you're
because
thinking
of
about
condensation.
oxy-reduct.
oh,
Yes,
oh,
exactly. So
okay.
Yeah,
with y'all with being dealing with freezers and
yeah,
you're not affected by any of the
yeah.
moisture in the air or freezing, and I think it's incredible. I think
No,
that
in
is
fact, we
is
developed a
great.
specific detector just to go into the freezer applications. It's our lowest rated activation at 135 degrees Fahrenheit to match up with the lowest rated sprinkler heads.
Sprinkler heads, yeah.
And then we also coupled that with a new jacketing material that was good to pliable to negative 60.
Yeah.
That's what we had it listed to. I think it's actually well suited to, well below that level. So perfect for freezer applications. And really, I mean, freezers are probably, I think I was doing some calculations on just the 135 detector that we put out last year and some of the companies that we know of offhand that do specifically freezer applications. It was close to 25% of our business was going
I
into
wouldn't
the
doubt
freezer
that.
market.
Yeah, I wouldn't doubt it.
Okay, wow. How often are y'all updating the panels? Or have you been dealing with these panels for a long time? So like if
We
they
are
purchase
old
it, they don't
school,
have to worry
baby.
about.
We got
Okay.
some serious conventional panels going on here at Protective Wire.
Yeah, we don't
Oh,
do
really?
addressable at all.
There's no-
Everything is
there's-
solid
I mean,
state.
I would imagine you don't have to have addressable, you
Well, the
know?
thing is that we can adapt to addressable just by, you can put our system on addressable.
Yeah.
So we can adapt and get addresses. It's just that our systems are conventional. They're not, that we don't have any addressable systems, but we're adaptable
Yeah,
to
our focus, I mean, back in the day, you couldn't really support linear heat detection without the conventional panels. So they came up with the conventional control panels.
the high
So
resistance.
yeah, so off of our standard equipment, we can support anywhere from 5 to 10,000 linear feet. So back in the day with conventional, these things were bulletproof. These were workhorses that would go into service and last for 10, 15, 20 years.
They still do.
And they still do. But as addressable panels came on the market and became more ubiquitous, if
Right.
nothing else, addressable modules came in a myriad of different flavors. So when I was mentioning before, linear heat detection being a resistive contact device, for every foot of detector you put on there, you draw on that much more resistance off the IDC that you're plugging into. So now you've got a lot of IDCs that are coming out that'll support 10 ohms of resistance, 20 ohms of resistance, when really we want to be more in the 1,000 to 1,500 ohms.
Yep. To get
to
the
be able to
footage.
get the footage that we're doing off of our standard equipment. So to address that, we came up with interface modules that will marry between the linear heat detection runs and the addressable modules through dry contact. So now we can boost that signal out to be able to support anywhere from 4 to 6,000, 6,500 linear feet, depending on the product line you're going after.
With just a little module, so it's super
With a
easy.
little tiny module.
It's a
Super
lot
easy.
of feet. So is there a home application? Like, do you have something for 13D?
13D?
No,
That's
that's
what-
residential,
Yeah,
right?
residential, like a home application.
Yeah.
Not
There's someone in the
yet.
comments asking.
Actually,
Isaac.
we're strictly industrial. We don't, I mean, we have been in like, there was a law that went into play. I think it was in Rhode Island where it started, where like interstitial spaces needed to be covered. And there were a lot of like nursing homes and housing facilities that have this space, you know, kind of this non-existent space between the ceiling and the roof. And that now all needed to be covered because of this this new law, especially after the station fire in Rhode Island. Their laws changed tremendously, and they've imposed a lot over those 20 plus years, I think was the last when that happened.
Yep.
So Protecto Wire is great, man, because you just run it and you test it from the end of it and you're good to go. So, you know, you don't have to test individual heats up there. You just got to make sure you get the right detector in the right spot and you're good to go.
Yeah, so for residential, probably the closest that we're getting to right now is with townhomes,
Yeah.
where they have
Okay.
shared attic space. So rather than running spot heat detectors,
Same
smoke
thing,
detectors, and those, that same concept.
And
Interstitial.
the outside of buildings too, which is interesting, you know, when the
Facades.
the facades of the buildings, because they're so close, there'll be outside protection. So if one building catches up, the next one's gonna go off, the water curtain will go down, and
Yeah, we've seen this in the seaport with a
Yeah.
lot of the mill buildings being renovated into condos. The AHJs were, requiring linear heat detection out around the balcony areas, just in case they were
It's
doing
tough in Boston.
cookouts. It is very
Yeah.
tough in
And now
Boston.
they're building
Definitely.
high rises in the ocean.
Yeah.
You
Yes,
know?
well,
they
they're
are.
out of space, man. There's nowhere else to
Well,
build
yeah,
them.
we're just
We have to thank the Boston
sea-
Fire Department for
the
NFPA
seaport.
241. That's what I can say.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's been a huge boon
That
for
made
us.
me-
All
that made
temporary
me,
construction, renovation projects.
That's
The
it. I
240
earned a
it's
lot of hours. I
It's
learned a lot of hours in
extremely
Boston doing
important.
241 with the
Yeah, it's
Well,
temporary
we
stand
just saw
pipes
the
and the
fire
temp
out in-
coverage.
Yeah, we just saw
Let
the
me
fire
tell
out
you,
in
we talked about this on
California.
the show. That is not going to be implemented nationally until it's mandatory, because it's so much more money when you're bidding work to add that in, that if anybody actually did what they should and add 241 in, they're not going
Get it as
to
an extra,
get the
kid.
bid.
Get it as an extra. Put the
Well,
bid
and it's
out
kind of
and get
No,
it
it
interesting
as an
has to be
extra.
mandatory. It has to be.
Well, you look at the Santa Clara County fire code for construction and for their 241. So they adapted from the California State Fire Code, and they added in language just for their jurisdiction to say that anything over 3 stories required linear heat and an active
Yeah.
fire panel.
Right.
So they won't even accept a building permit until you show them your fire plans.
Well,
Pretty good.
And then they just had that huge
I think
fire
that's
out
incredible.
there just about a week ago.
What flyer
Let's
do you
push it. Let's push the
I'll share it
movement.
with you.
Let's push the movement.
You know, and I
NFPA
hate that people are
241, coast to
having.
coast.
I hate that people are having these big fires, but as far as implementing the things that should be in place, like
It's not
when I
required
think
by
of a
code.
big fire,
Right.
I'm like, great. Hopefully no one got hurt, but I'm glad they got a huge fire. Maybe they'll change something.
They can learn
Well,
from it. Exactly.
Absolutely. I mean, we see a lot of you can sit there and Google stories. I did a presentation on this a few years ago. It was
A lot of
probably one of
fires.
the first ones that I did when I first came on and learning about this industry and learning about this particular aspect of it. But it's like anything else. 241 is awesome. It's a very short code. It's basic housekeeping, what to do around the job site, where to control and contain your flammables, where to contain your hot work permitting and things of that nature, and make sure that people are following the rules. Sign a fire marshal for every job site. But at the end of the day, there are no strict regulations other than the HJs running around saying you should be doing this or you should be doing that. So there's nothing that
And
says
they can't agree, you know, they're all
Right.
independent, man. They're all gonna make their own decisions, you know, so.
what year are they working to, what code
Yeah,
version are they
Yeah,
working
which
exactly.
code are they following? You know,
Exactly. I mean,
which
it's a
which
crapshoot.
chief's showing up? Who you
Yeah.
getting? Who's gonna show up, right?
Yeah.
It's in a bad mood.
Who
But
who we walking with?
Yeah.
But for certain, Boston has been on the forefront. The Boston Fire Department has been crucial
Yeah,
and
really
really
good.
kind of
Well, they're very
promoting
involved.
Yeah,
awareness,
super involved.
awareness, if nothing else.
Super
Just to sit there
involved.
and say, you guys have to
Yeah.
come up.
There
with
you go.
There you go.
BFD.
BFD.
That's
Put a
it. It's
shout
them
out to the
boys.
boys.
Them boys. Yeah,
Awesome.
I did so much NFPA 241 work over the past, I don't know, 10 years in Boston.
It's probably one of the biggest markets that we do here in Massachusetts.
It's
Just
big.
about
It's big. It keeps a
every
lot of us busy.
contractor, every major contractor within the city has defaulted and started putting our CTI series detector into just about every one of their facilities.
Well, I mean, it's great, right? You throw the
That's
detector,
incredible.
you throw the module up, you run your detector, you hook it up to whatever panel's there, you get 24-hour watch, rip it down, go to the next floor. You know, I mean, it's a great solution.
And if they
it
can't do
works
that, we're
Well,
doing
incredibly
yeah,
well.
we're
it's
doing
it's
temp coverage
way
with
cheaper than
upright sprinkler heads. If
Yeah,
the ceiling
exactly.
comes down, the heads are going up. Or
Well, and the thing is that nobody wants to have active sprinklers in these facilities
Nope.
because if you're sitting there doing painting or drywalling or anything
Or
like
new
that, the last thing you
ductwork.
want to do.
all you're
Yeah,
doing,
Yeah.
there
I'm
you
coming
go.
back and
Exactly.
moving sprigs, and it's more
Pain in the
T&M.
neck.
T&M.
Totally.
All they want is something that sits there and hits a knock, and if it's going to burn, it's going to burn. But you're not releasing water, you're not doing anything else.
So we're actually, I think we're gonna get kicked out of here pretty soon.
Now we got 10 minutes.
We got 10 minutes? You
Yeah.
sure?
Yeah, that's
All right.
fine.
We're,
Yeah.
we're closing the,
Yeah,
we're
we're
closing the bar here.
We're good.
Oh yeah, you're at the
I
bar.
can hear him.
So
I
we're
can
gonna
hear
give
him-
a.
I can hear him shutting down outside. I don't want to keep him here too long.
I
So
did
we're
a
gonna give
school.
a shout
I did
out
a
here
school
to
in
our
Pembroke.
local place.
Yeah,
Oh,
give
yeah,
a shout out to where we
shout
are
'em out.
tonight.
Where you
Hang
at?
on,
Shout 'em
Alright,
out.
So
Where you at?
we're at Vitamin C Brewing. This is
Plymouth,
their brand new outdoor and indoor beer garden that they just opened up within the last week. Vitamin C is out of Weymouth. Excellent IPA, local brewer. If you haven't heard of them, check them out.
They are
Weymouth.
good.
And
Super
great
good.
team, great
I
team.
can
And they
hear.
lent us their back room so we could have this little interview.
Yes.
That's pretty cool.
Oh, wow,
Thank you.
that's
Shout out to them.
incredible.
I can hear your Boston accent with the south, South Boston coming out of you. The South Shore, the South Shore.
We got
Huh?
the South Shore.
Huh?
Kind of grew up near each other.
Come on.
Well, we have
So-
some complimentary beverages
right,
too.
exactly.
So.
Oh,
So I
wow,
got
that's
vitamin
incredible
C.
that they did
I
that
got a-
for you.
I got a buddy that's in that owns and operates Sarcastic Swine.
Oh yeah.
Isn't that
Right
that's
up the
right?
street, right
That's
on
right.
I was
Route
gonna say,
18 and
Was that in
Abington.
Abington?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Abington, yeah, he's been on the show. I
Yeah.
worked with him. I worked with him in the union for many years.
Oh yeah,
Good
I'm
friend.
literally
Great
about
guy, man.
4
He's
miles
so
away
much
from
fun.
him.
Yeah, good time to work with Dutch. Clutch Dutch. Worked with him. Shout out.
Clutch Dutch.
Clutch
So next time
Dutch.
I go in there, I'll ask for Clutch Dutch.
There you go, man.
I love
That's it.
calling it when I said Abington, I would always say Abigail, and he's like, dude, it's Abington, and I'm like, oh yeah, Abigail.
I know you're from Leo Minster. No, he's
Leo
from Leo
Minster.
Minster.
Right.
Born and raised. Oh, that's great.
Awesome.
Yeah, just little bit south. So what'd you say? You like to go to the airport at 3 a.m. or 3 p.m.?
3 p.m. is not too bad in the afternoon going into the city. 3 a.m. is, clear sailing. I could probably sleep in, get there in about 20 minutes from where I am.
Yeah, okay.
So I'm a noon guy. So in Atlanta,
Noon. Yeah, that's
you
pretty
need to
good.
you need to go wherever you're going before 2.
Yeah.
After
Oh,
2 o'clock,
yes.
you
Oh,
are
yes.
screwed.
Well, that's Boston,
Okay, if you're a fitter, if you're a blue collar guy, if you're going to work, you have to leave before 5.
Oh
You
yeah.
can
Oh,
get
yeah,
anywhere in the
absolutely.
city in 50 minutes before 5, but after
Yep.
5, it's an hour and a half.
Yep.
If you
Boston
can-
is
if you-
the same exact.
If you can avoid Atlanta, that's it. It's easy. That's what you're gonna do. Just avoid it. Don't go
Just
there.
go around it.
Yeah.
No.
Don't go. Skip
Yeah,
the
that's
trip.
I
that's
mean-
still
Skip the
not
trip.
easy. That's like going around
Listen,
DC.
like I'm from Atlanta. It's not awesome.
That's
So
Atlanta
there's a lot
behind.
of negative things.
That's
I
Atlanta
mean,
behind you, right?
There's a lot of no, I think that's like New York or something. And it's I'm actually down on the beach, so I just threw that background on.
If any-
I'm so
Um,
jealous.
Chad's giving
Well,
me
Yeah.
we
another
get the
shout out
ocean.
here.
Sorry, I just did it again. Sorry. I hate
Chad's
this thing.
Chad's giving you another shout
We're
out here.
sharing because we can't hear
If
you.
anyone watching the show ever has the opportunity to take the Protecto Wire class, it should be hell
Take it.
yeah. Lots of knowledge and
Yeah.
history for us in the fire protection. Thanks for coming on the show. It's Chad. Thank you, Chad.
Thanks, Chad.
Chad's the man.
He really is. He is the
He
coolest
really
guy.
is.
Thoroughly
Yeah,
enjoyed
we
having
love
him
him.
at training.
Florencio says, is Protecto
We
Wire
do. We
installed
love him.
within 20 inches of the ceiling? It's installed within a certain distance of the sprinkler head, if I'm not correct.
Yeah.
So it all depends on the ceiling height. So you have reduced spacing per NFPA 72. So that's basically what you follow. And if you have permission to be on the sprinkler pipe, then you'd follow the sprinkler pipe spacing. Thank you very
That's it.
Yes.
I like it.
much.
That's good. We had some good interaction from the
I
chat
would
today.
say,
Don't
yeah,
forget to
I
hit
was
the
gonna
like
say.
button and subscribe if you haven't.
Definitely.
This was pretty informative. Really appreciate you guys coming on.
Well, it was a pleasure, you guys. I thoroughly enjoyed myself. I think, Gary, yeah, good
absolutely.
time had by all.
Yeah, I
A little
think
nervous
in
I
the
think it was
beginning.
very
Y'all
I
are
think it was
great.
very
I was-
informative and people can come here and get info about it and learn a little bit of Protector Wire just from right here and maybe it'll get them amped up
But,
to
I
take
mean-
your class. Hopefully we can strum up some people signing up for the class.
Absolutely.
But I have to
And
ask,
I'm
though,
always available for industry events, and I speak all
Yeah.
over the country. I just did New York Fire Alarm Association. I did Pennsylvania Fire Alarm Association. I do SFPEs, regionally all over the country. So if there's ever
NFPA,
a need.
AFSA.
Yeah.
Will you be at NFPA?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. We have a big booth. We'll have
Big
a
booth.
big presence
heck
there.
yeah.
Big booth.
Yeah.
We'll have
Bobby,
a
we
big
gotta
party
so
on
we gotta come by and do
Tuesday.
an interview. We have
Yeah,
to go do
we
a
will.
video
Oh
with
yeah,
you guys.
please.
So we'd probably
And
we'd
if
like
y'all
to do
if y'all go walk
And
little
I'll
around,
be
bit.
come by
home
and say
minding the
hey.
fort. Okay, so
Oh,
you guys all have a good time, and I'm home minding the fort
Okay,
because that's what I do
Okay.
best.
We'll call you if we need you.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's awesome. Yeah, so we'll definitely come by the booth. We'd prefer to come by before the expo starts, just because the noise.
Yeah.
The noise. If we were
Yeah,
gonna, if
so
we were gonna
I'll
make
be
a little
there.
video.
I'll be there
noise,
Sunday
I'll be at
afternoon setting
Arco,
up,
too.
and then we'll be there probably just before the show opens on Monday.
Okay, we'll be in there.
Okay.
We'll be in there bright and early Monday.
Okay.
You need to come in there.
Bothering
Hey,
everybody.
Wednesday, 8 a.m. to 9 a.m.
No,
we are going to be
don't do
speaking.
that.
So you
No, don't.
you have to,
Yeah,
bro.
no,
You have to
don't
be
show
there.
up on Wednesday.
Yeah.
You have Wednesday, 8
that's the
a.m.
day after our event.
They have they got a big event Tuesday. We're gonna.
Oh yeah.
Did I
oh,
not
yeah.
mention there was a big event on Tuesday?
Yeah, no,
No.
I think that was before the show. You can mention it
It's a
again.
tropical Tuesday.
Yeah, Tropical Tuesday.
go.
I forget the Ocean Air.
Be there or
something
be
other.
there.
Yeah.
That is the place to be. Protect the
Man.
Wire has the best.
Dope and Tape might crash
Get-togethers.
that. We might have to crash that.
I think you
Yeah.
should. You'd be a fool if you didn't.
I know somebody with invitations. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I like it.
Awesome.
You guys
So
got it made now. You've made it to Protect the Wire upper status.
Yes.
Whoa,
You're up
let's
there with
go.
Chad.
Oh,
Up
thank
there
you.
with Chad. I have to thank Chad. Thank you, Chad. We sent Chad. This puts out a good impression. He did good. Good. Another round of applause for Chad.
Yeah, he deserves it. That kid rocks.
Oh, that's
He's the
awesome.
best.
So we'll
Everywhere
see.
he goes, people love him. I mean,
How could
He
you
does
not?
awesome reels. I
How-
can't get over the talent that boy has. That's
That's it.
crazy what he turns out.
My
Bobby,
guy
you just said,
Chad.
how
He's
could you
great.
not? You're so right. That's
How could you
exactly what
not?
it is. He's a
Chad.
lovable guy.
Oh, so we'll see you. We're gonna see you soon. Like we'll see you next week or
Yeah,
two,
yeah,
or in
2 weeks.
right? 2 weeks.
Yeah, 10
do we?
days.
You guys
Yeah.
whatever it is.
I'm
Time at
excited.
the show,
I'm
and
so
I will
excited.
I'll put out all the fires that are going
Yeah.
on. while
So
you guys are
the
partying.
reason
All the
Brian's
fires I
talking
like.
about Wednesday is Wednesday at 8 a.m. Brian and I will be speaking on stage at a seminar at 8 a.m.
Oh,
on
we will.
Wednesday. Yeah, so
Oh,
we
well,
like
Yeah.
to tell we like to
check.
tell
Oh,
the
8 a.m.
8 a.m. We like to tell
I'm
the
sorry,
chat
guys.
if anybody
What's
Yeah, well, they
seminar?
push this in there,
It's all right.
on a Wednesday.
It's all right.
Can't you
Well,
tell that they love us?
They
They're
do
Of
love
like,
course.
Hey.
We got the key
we can
spot.
put them wherever no one else wants to go.
Yeah, it's okay. We'll take
Have you
whatever
noticed
we
the
can
show
get,
hours
baby.
at 10 to 3?
Yeah, Wednesday. If it's Wednesday, everybody's like, "Screw this place! I just want to go home and then get there as late as possible."
Everybody
We're
go-
looking at like a 3/4 filled crowd. It's gonna be a first time, so I think it's good.
We'll be there. I like being able to get in there all 3 days and get footage. Get footage for the
Awesome.
viewers.
It's gonna be
That'll
good.
be great for you guys. I think I'd look forward to seeing you guys there. So
And if anybody else is interested in joining us at NFPA, reach out and I will send you a link on how you can get there and the steps you can take to see us there. Isaac, we can talk about you
Dopandtape
sending
at
that class out.
Gmail.
Dopandtape@gmail if you want to email us.
You got it right.
There it goes.
He's learning.
Thank you.
If anything, you learned your Gmail address tonight, so that's a
I
good
did. I did.
All
Was
right.
this 15 months in?
And if you ever have any Protector Wire questions, you know who to call now.
Call
Absolutely.
Amy.
Call
Absolutely.
Amy.
Gary. We're here.
Please.
Awesome.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you guys so
Been a
much.
pleasure,
Awesome.
man.
Thank you so
Take care.
much.
All right.
Everybody
Later.
watching, thank you so much.